Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Mike T. Sharp, the podcast, aka the Black Awareness Rally podcast. You can be rocking with anybody in the world right now, but you are here with us, and for that, we do appreciate you. It's your boy Pledge alongside my main man B,
What's going on, good people?
and we welcome you to the discussion. So, what's going on, B?
Learning, quarantining. How about you?
Same thing, man. Just trying to stay positive and optimistic in this. I think it's been about what, a month and a half, going on 2 month quarantine.
Yeah, I think so. We had March. March is when we shut down. 15. And that's when
Yeah, I think it was March 15th. Yeah,
I ain't have to be to work no more after that. So yeah, it's been about a month and a half, going on 2.
So you staying strong mentally, or what's going on?
Hey man, I think I'm pretty blessed in my little situation. So I have no complaints. How about you?
Starting to get to me a little bit, man. Being, in the house pretty much all day, having little ones to take care of
Yeah.
adds to that as well. And, them getting antsy and wanting to venture out and do other things. But I mean, overall, we're still extremely fortunate and blessed. So, not complaining at all. But it is starting to wear mentally more so than anything else. But all is well though.
Everybody just kind of cabin fever thing, just want to do something different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I
I mean,
know
the
a
more
couple.
you're around people, the little small things
Yeah,
start to
That's
a
true.
little bit. So,
I can attest to that. That does come up from time to time, but so no, I guess I'm going through that. Just kind of talk myself down, but
yeah,
I don't know, man. I just chalk it up to the game, I suppose. So,
for sure,
uh,
for sure.
but no, I couldn't imagine doing it with children at the crib.
Yes,
You know, it's just me and another adult, man. He working, I'm working. So,
I hear you. I hear you.
but,
Have you mastered the remote distance learning? Have you mastered that yet? Have you gotten it down? Something you're
what,
comfortable with?
teaching the kids?
Yeah.
Nah, cause they're not. We don't have a lot of kids in my group that have a laptop. So for
Oh
the most
man.
part, it's still just me texting and going online, checking their work. So, but it's a lot different. I mean, this has never happened. So the school district is kind of relaxing on certain standards that we used to have. I mean, we still want the kids to kind of be working on stuff, but it's still pretty weird for everybody, man. They don't really know what to do yet. So,
Hmm.
what the job like for y'all? Y'all still moving pretty heavily trying to
Yeah.
recruit?
I mean, since this is something that I'm in the ed tech industry, so this is something that we were focusing on before.
Hmm.
And so now it's just made our services in more of a high demand. So
Okay.
it's been fairly busy for us, which has been a good thing. It's good for business and also keeps me busy throughout the day. So, but
Yeah.
it's going well.
All right. At least everybody eating. I know that's
Yes,
a major concern for everybody.
yes,
Speaking of that, uh, let's do the Black awareness moments.
yes. Did you have something you wanted to share, or you want me to go ahead and get it kicked off?
You can do it. You can run
All right, I'm going to start with the Miss Black Awareness Rally, our show, the portion of the show where we dedicate to big up in our young sisters who make it happen.
it.
And this week, Miss Black Awareness Rally is Deidre Roberson, who is the founder and CEO of U Melanin, which is a unique fashion where they infuse the science of using the chemical structure of melanin in clothing and jewelry designs. So this is a
Okay.
young sister she's a chemist. She's a chemist by trade,
Yeah.
but she also has a flair for fashion. So she's combining the two, and I have no idea how they infuse
Yeah.
the chemicals of melanin in clothing and jewelry. But this young lady has figured it out, and big ups to her for it's actually a clothing line that you can go check out.
Okay.
You melanin, and the instead of you, it's like an E in front of melanin, and that's the website. For the community moment, I want to shout out a campaign that saved Marcus Books in Oakland, California, which
Mm-hmm.
was America's oldest Black bookstore.
Yeah.
It's actually named after Marcus Garvey. They were hit by the pandemic, and also it's not just a pandemic, but I just think it's a changing of the times where things have gone digital,
Yeah.
and places like Amazon, kind of take the relevancy out of locally owned bookstores. But thanks to a GoFundMe page, they were able to raise over the $50,000 amount
Really?
that they were seeking to keep it open. So America's oldest Black bookstore is still up and running, thanks to the fine folks who contribute to the GoFundMe account.
That's pretty awesome, man. Been seeing a lot of deeds like that, just showing people are not as evil or selfish as we tend to think.
Yeah.
So that's pretty dope.
I mean, they kind of mentioned some of the names of people who have like gone through that bookstore, had signings there and things like that. You're talking about
Yeah.
people like Malcolm X, talking about Oprah, one of your favorite people, um, Toni Morrison. So I mean, it was some influential people that have come through the doors of there. So it's good that they'll be able to continue the good work that they've done over 50 plus years.
That's what's up, man. That's pretty darn dope. I like that.
Yeah. And then I
Uh,
got a surprise moment from my entertainment section.
who you got? What?
I
I'm
got
trying
you.
to see.
I got my main man B as the
What?
entertainment section. Hey, you've been spotted. You
What
got
you talking about?
reviews of the music video and then the mixtapes. You got
Oh,
y'all
oh.
go and check boy B out. I'm saying I know he's not about the self promotion, but I'm gonna do it for him. So he didn't know I was gonna do this, by the way.
No.
But
No, I ain't even think
go
that
go
registered
check
with
out
anybody yet.
go check out the video reviews that he has. I know they're on Facebook. Where else are they at?
Facebook, Instagram, and I'm gonna put them up on Twitter. I keep forgetting to put them on Twitter.
So yeah,
I might start a YouTube page too.
so I mean, somebody like me who doesn't dive deep into the mixtapes and everything or whatever,
Yeah.
I can get the high level overview from B. So thank you for that, and y'all stay tuned for
I
more.
appreciate it, man.
For sure.
Yeah. Nah, man. I don't know how many people see those, so that's
Well,
pretty
now
dope.
a lot more people don't see him. So
Right. All right, appreciate it. Let's see. My Black Awareness Rally community moment is Ignite Alabama. It's an online organization that's interested in trying to bridge communication gaps and service providers for minorities. Definitely located in Alabama. But on the 26th of last month, they hosted a virtual graduation ceremony, and over 350 kids from Alabama, Georgia, Florida, North Carolina, Texas, and Louisiana participated, just so they could have some semblance of a graduation ceremony. I know that's been pretty tough for a lot of seniors across the
yes,
nation, trying to feel like their hard work went with some recognition. So shout out to Ignite Alabama. Then the
yes,
Miss Black Awareness pageant winner, well, contestant, I should say, is Dr. Tasha Dickerson, who's a certified life coach. She teamed up with a different organization called WIT Enterprises. That's a conglomerate of Stick to You and Smile It Forward, Proud to Care, a couple other places. But they've been working with her to try to get some coaching, therapy for teenagers during the Rona, because I'd imagine that they dealing pretty hard with it too. Not being able to do much, not being able to see friends, And God forbid, they're in a situation where the home environment isn't that awesome. So
Yes.
that's two big things. My Black awareness, my music, my art section. It's just been an influx of like really cool movies jumping up online, like Black movies. So Issa Rae's got a movie coming out end of this month. Michelle Obama's got a documentary coming out on Netflix. Looking forward to catching that. So I don't know. It's just been a lot of people just doing big things. Definitely want to shout out Beyonce and Meg Thee Stallion. They kind of put a bright spot in a lot of people's day or quarantine. So I think that was like an award by committee on that one. So
I hear you.
big up on
That's
that.
good. I know you reviewed the Meg Thee Stallion and Beyonce
Mm-hmm.
video, and you gave good props to Beyonce.
Yeah.
And I know we touched on this a little bit. I know we're gonna save this to another episode where we go deeper into it.
Okay.
But I did think that Beyonce did bring a little bit of creativity to the song, as opposed to it just being about the same old repetitive thing that Meg Thee Stallion always raps about. So I'm just gonna leave that right there. But,
yeah, you got it. I'm gonna let you have it. I thought it
even
was
though
really cool.
one of Beyonce's best verses, I mean, Beyonce has spit better verses, but Beyonce raps a couple of times, and now you say people are trying to call her the greatest rapper because she rapped a couple of times.
Hey, listen.
She's actually married to the greatest rapper of all time. How
See,
ironic is that?
that's debatable, man. Look, I told you my boy don't get no respect. There's been a few tweets and memes that went viral, and people are talking about imagine being Jay-Z and you not the best rapper in your household. I was like, yo, the disrespect. And I was like, you know what? Me and Dre was talking about it. We thought it was funny because it would probably force dudes to step up to the challenge. Like, what's up? Who got better bars? So if for some reason
it won't be a fair fight because the Beehive they won't give anybody else credit. So it's going to be a win by sheer popularity alone. It won't be a fair fight for anybody. So don't even try.
Hey man, I think it's funny. I think people need to get out there and start challenging people to get better at writing bars. So if it happened, it happened. I'm here for it. Definitely give me something to do.
Can you imagine her in a battle? Can you imagine her in a battle?
I honestly, man, I don't know how much of the writing she does when she do her verses, but not very many people writing their own verses. So she wouldn't be the only superstar that's out there getting somebody helping them.
I mean, it's just crazy how she can do one thing. And I mean, she's rapped before, but it's crazy how she can come out with something and then all of a sudden she's the best to ever do it. Like, come on. Like that's a bit of a reach.
Hey, look, man, if Trump can get people to walk out here and drink bleach, if Beyonce can drop a couple bars and get people to think she the GOAT. So I ain't mad. It's a lot healthier than drinking Lysol. I tell you that much.
At least somebody will die from this one.
Right. I mean, your feelings might get hurt, but you'll be calling the poison control hotline. So much you injecting too many Beyonce bars.
And since he made that comment, the phone has been ringing off the hook to those people because people have actually taken his advice and started doing that. So
he said he was joking though. He said it being sarcastic. So that 19 people that died that very same day couldn't take a joke.
They couldn't take a joke.
Couldn't take a joke. So that's pretty rough, man. But nah, enough about old Donnie. I feel like Donnie doing the best he can. I think Donnie legit thought he had a good idea on that one.
Yeah.
So
we're gonna move from somebody who claims to was the best ever done to somebody who has actually achieved the status of GOAT to being the best to ever do it. And that is the Michael Jordan. The Last Dance series is going on now. 4 out of the 10 episodes have happened already. Is it because there's nothing else going on in the world right now that this is so popular, or is it really that good? What's your opinion on
Good business.
Good business.
Good business. Just like everything. I ain't gonna say everything he does, but most of the things he does when it comes to his brand is just real good business. And I'm gonna just leave it at that because it's a lot of speculation. We'll get into that later about
Yes.
the format of
Yes.
this, but I think it's just good timing, man. So he knew when to do what he had to do, and the
Yes.
ratings are competing. So
And I know timing is kind of going to be a recurring theme of what we talk about today. The timing of when he decided to do it, the timing of when he was originally planning to air the episodes,
yeah,
all that stuff is something that we're going to discuss. So I've enjoyed him thoroughly. I've always thought that Michael Jordan was the GOAT. This kind of reintroduces him to another generation, like my oldest son, who's 7, who's really into basketball. He has been watching them with me, and so now, like, he's like, "Oh yeah, Jordan, hands down, the GOAT."
better than LeBron. Who did he have before the documentary started? Did he? I mean, I know
I
you
mean,
got your personal favorites.
like Steph,
Yeah.
like, I mean, he's like Trae Young. I don't know. But
Really?
yeah.
Okay. I didn't think that would come up on the radar.
But yeah, I mean LeBron. So I mean, those were like the kind of the ones like KD. He liked them or whatever. But now, like that, he sees the documentary. So I think that's one thing that Jordan can say is that he's won over another younger generation of people who might not have been around to witness his dominance. So
okay. I wasn't a Jordan fan growing up because I had other teams. He wasn't my favorite player. I'll say that. But I made sure to watch every game because I was just really into how competitive the games were when he was playing. So he was definitely a large part of my basketball experience coming up. And I knew he was the best because I always wanted to watch to see if anybody could like beat him. You know what I mean? So that was I guess similar like to the Kobe thing, but I don't ever remember saying to myself, "Oh, if you just watch for this one or two things, you can beat Jordan." Like I don't think I've ever felt myself saying that like I do with other superstars. Like I feel like that with LeBron, Dirk Nowitzki's jump shot, maybe Kobe, definitely the Warriors. Just feel like a lot of people got flaws to their game, and I don't understand why they're getting tossed into this GOAT conversation the way Jordan is. So, man, I definitely give props where props due. I always thought he was the best to ever do it.
Yeah. Now I'll admit when I was growing up and Jordan was dominating, I used to root against him. I used to like want to see somebody beat him.
Yeah.
Like that was me growing up. But then like as I got older, I had to give him props. And shout out to the Orlando Magic who beat Jordan in a
You know that don't count.
series. It does count. It does count. In 1995, Jordan got beat in a playoff series, and it was by the Orlando Magic. It might have been 1996. I don't know. Wait, it was 1995.
No, I think it was
when he came back from baseball. He came back at the end of the season when he was wearing number 45.
Yeah.
Shout out to Penny Hardaway right here in the Orlando Magic who took him out.
But you see, he's below the GOAT. Just make sure everybody see that he's below. See how you got the top shelf reserved for the best.
Growing up in Orlando, Penny Hardaway was my favorite basketball player.
I got you. You sound like Drell. That was Drell's favorite player too. No, man, I was always drawn to. I was a fan of Rodman with the Spurs. That's when he first popped on my radar. But I was a Sean Kemp fan and the Sonics fan in that '96 series. That was the last team I remember rooting for before I like just swerved sports till college. So I had a lot vested in that '96 series, wanting to see that outcome be a little different. But it was undeniable, man. Like I definitely say, I knew Jordan was going to be Jordan. I just hoped everybody else would be weak enough so that the Sonics could win. But we saw how that worked. So, yeah, man. I just feel like people really. It's a lot of debates that are swirling around this that I really don't understand. I know we need something to talk about, but just on my timeline in general, I got a lot of friends that are like out here just flat out hating on MJ. Now, I don't see how you can hate on MJ.
I I can see, and I think when we bring up the first point of the timing of the
Mm-hmm.
series
Mm-hmm.
is that when I mean, of course they recorded all this footage, hours and hundreds of hours of footage of that final season.
Right.
They recorded. He had complete control of it, so they have been trying to release this footage for a long time,
Yeah.
and Michael Jordan had to be the one to sign off on producing the footage. And the timing that he agreed for somebody to start making this
Mm-hmm.
is very questionable, which might lead people to hate on Michael Jordan.
I
And he agreed to start making this film in July of 2016. And
yeah.
a lot of people remember what happened in June of 2016 was LeBron and the Cleveland Cavaliers defeated the 73 win Golden State Warriors and came back from a 3-1 deficit to win it. And so some might question that Jordan felt his GOAT status was in jeopardy. So he was like, let me go ahead and release the footage to go ahead and solidify this, so I go ahead and solidify himself as the greatest of all time because he felt that LeBron might have been creeping up on that.
He can keep creeping all he wants, bro. He ain't got enough time left to solidify that argument. Like, I personally don't think that is the reason. I mean, LeBron, that's what was his third ring.
Yeah, it's his third ring.
I mean, that's the first one. He was the leader of the team. I know everybody
What?
want to say, "Come on, bro,
What?
the Heat. Who's the leader of that squad?"
You got to be kidding me. Dwayne Wade has admitted that he relented the control of the organization to him after they didn't win the first championship.
And you know what that's a sign of?
What?
Good leadership. Just like LeBron.
But it was LeBron's team because at first they were trying to like co-lead, and then Dwayne said, "Just go ahead and take over. It's your team." And after that, they won 2 in a row.
And again, a good leader sees what the team needs and decides, "Let me make the sacrifice." I'm giving Dwayne props on that because LeBron had to learn how to win from his organization. He had won without him. That's just my personal take.
The thing is that everybody has using this documentary as a way to take shots at LeBron. I mean, that seems the underlying theme of everything that's going on. And now
I just don't feel like why he get
a deeper shot at it.
No, I ain't taking shots. I don't just my general overview of this debate is nobody mentioned LeBron in the documentary. Why are we talking about LeBron? And I don't understand why the world, you know what I mean?
Because,
like I get the people
because people feel that LeBron, this is Michael Jordan's reality. I'm sorry. Retaliation against LeBron. They feel like that this is what this series is a retaliation against LeBron, saying, I know what you're coming from, but let me go ahead and submit my legacy. Even the people who weren't around to originally witness my greatness, I'm going to reintroduce it to them.
What about the fact that he was making documentaries like these in the 80s before he'd even won? He was like the king of making these random highlight tapes to make people just fall more in love with his game. Like, I personally remember being introduced to him on that Come Fly With Me highlight tape. Yeah. Like, I remember watching that and was like, I just want to watch this man play basketball all day. And this was before he'd even won.
I mean, but that's the thing is that Michael Jordan is the Michael Jordan of marketing.
Right. So I feel like
athletes weren't really doing that. So I think that kind of speaks to
the conspiracy.
What he was doing before it was even popular. He was marketing and maximizing every aspect of his greatness, whether it be him promoting himself, whether it be promoting every brand that he was representing at the time.
Mm-hmm.
He the one who started that. People want to talk about LeBron owning these production companies. to where he has ownership of what goes out as far as content on himself. But like you say, Jordan has been doing these documentary type situations for a long time.
Bro, almost 40 years, man.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I will give you that though, is that he was on that before anybody else was on that of self promoting and maximizing his brand. So
that's my argument. Like that's my only retraction to that. Now, there is a side of Mike that we've heard about since he's retired about him being extremely competitive in all things. And so in that regard, we could look at it, but because of LeBron, I'm not seeing it, bro. Like,
all right. So the timing of when he originally agreed to do it was right after LeBron won his third ring, right?
Okay.
And then, do you know when this series was originally supposed to air?
Like 21 years ago.
No.
What?
I'm saying like before.
I'm talking about after they finished it.
After they finished, do you know when it was supposed to air?
Mm-mm.
It was supposed to air on the off nights of the NBA Finals.
Oh, so the next year.
How? No. This year. So say the finals would have been going on this June.
Okay.
Like say they played on a Sunday night. After you watch that great finals game between whoever, Jordan was
supposed to watch Jordan the next night.
So this dude was going to hijack the finals from this year of saying, "Hey, kill all this buzz. I'm still the greatest of all time."
No, okay.
Is that not petty? You can't let the finals just go on without.
No, I'm not blaming Mike for that because this Ken Burns article you sent me about how Ken Burns, I guess he's a documentarian and historian, and he's bludgeoning the creative and the inspiration and the integrity of the documentary because the NBA and Jordan Brand are the people that made it. So
it's completely one-sided.
So which is fine, but the NBA and the Michael Jordan, not just Jordan. So the NBA was standing to make profit off of that just as much as Jordan was. So I'm absolving Mike of that next rumor. I just still don't believe Mike was like, oh nah, I'm gonna drop it during the finals because I don't want nobody to think about nobody else but me. The NBA was like, nah, we're gonna keep all these viewers coming in. Come on now, that's still good. You prove my point. It's just more good business.
Good business, good petty business. In my
how is that petty? Like you and me both know.
You can't let these young ball players you got to break up what people are talking about. I mean, I'm pretty sure that it may not have gotten it when everything else is going on or whatever. It may not have this much attention, but it would have still garnered a good amount of attention. You mean to tell me that the NBA couldn't push this off for a month, or August, to where there's nothing going on but preseason football, and say let's capture an NBA audience for another month past the finals? But we gotta jam pack it into the finals. Nah.
I will say this. I'll say this. I think it would have been better to wait until there was nothing else to do. In the world of sports, right? So, August would have been a really good time. July would have been a really good time. Ain't nothing going on in July. I mean, you got baseball, but anybody watching baseball. So, dropping it during the finals might have been a bit petty. But I'm still saying the NBA had to sign off on that. So, how does Jordan still have that much influence on when the documentary gets dropped in the finals? Because you think about it, the finals usually be what, like a game, 2 nights, a game, 2 nights, a game, 2 nights. There's only so much we could talk about. We got one night we'll talk about it.
But say LeBron was in the finals, right? And LeBron,
which he wasn't going to be.
That's another debate. But just say LeBron was in the finals and LeBron dropping 40. People were like, oh man, LeBron playing good. But then you got the Jordan documentary coming on the night after LeBron dropped 40 in the finals or whatever. People are like, oh man, LeBron playing good, but he ain't Mike. So it's just So I just question the motives behind the documentary,
Mm-hmm.
the timing of when it was originally supposed to air, the timing of when he originally agreed to put the series together. All those things kind of raise red flags. Now I'm happy that this content is out here. I'm happy that we get to watch it. I'm happy that my son gets to watch it. So I'm not arguing with the documentary at all. I'm just saying that it's very Michael Jordan of the documentary to be petty,
Oh,
make sure that nobody else, none of those people that are competing against your legacy get any shine. That's what I'm saying.
but didn't we talk 2 episodes ago about the failure of Annie Malone to preserve her legacy after her work was done? And now we over here telling Jordan that he's being petty for dropping this documentary when he decided or finishing it. I just feel like we just unhappy up. What does it take to make black people happy? Jordan just trying to preserve their legacy. What's so bad about that?
The problem is that he's going about it in a very Jordan-esque way of doing things. That's the problem.
Because
Is
he want
that
to win?
one, he has complete control over everything. It's not like he was like, hey, here's this footage, go make something. I mean, he's even the narrator. Like, they don't even, like, one thing that they said is that it doesn't even have a narrator. He won't even let anybody else, like, speak about what was going on or whatever. So, I mean, it's so I'm saying, it's not one thing to have something about Jordan, but it's another thing to have something about Jordan that's done in only a manner that Jordan would have done it.
What's so wrong with that?
There's
Kanye,
nothing
what
wrong
you
with that.
saying? So let me ask this. So to all you viewers out there in TV land, if you got $1 billion image empire, which is it's really hard to pull off, you supposed to be like, all right, let me just let somebody else tell my story. I don't care how they tell it. I don't care when they tell it.
Hey, I mean, he got it like that. So I
I
mean,
think it's good business. I just think it's good business. Beyonce ain't letting it happen. Oprah ain't letting it happen. Jay-Z ain't letting it happen. Kanye tries his best, but he don't want it to happen. Well, Mike got to be different. LeBron won't even LeBron still ain't had a scandal yet. So we know these billionaire dudes is just choking the narrative to the point that nobody else is allowed to put their hands on it. Now, I don't have a problem with that. I feel like
now in today's world, if LeBron would have had a scandal, it would have been out. I mean,
bro.
Maybe he's just walking on water, like no other NBA player is been able to do. But
I think he's just
LeBron had a scandal, would have been out in today's time. I mean, it was easier to cover up scandals in Michael Jordan's time, and you saw everything that came out about Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
So there's probably 100 times more stuff that happened that didn't come out. But I think in LeBron's time, that it's damn near impossible right now for anybody to cover up any kind of scandal.
Barack Obama, Michelle Obama, LeBron James, Steph Curry.
Steph Curry, yeah.
Yeah, like people are doing it. It's people are getting that scandal-free celebrity done.
I'm saying I think what I'm trying to say is that there is no scandal for it to cover up. That's what I'm trying to say. I think there's a difference between scandal happening and people having the ability to cover it up, and then people just living scandal-free. I'm thinking
when I say
I think more people are living scandal-free because I don't see there's a way for people. I don't think there's a way for stuff not to get out. Not with TMZ, with everything with everybody being a reporter now. I don't think there's a way for stuff to be covered up and not get out.
I personally think nobody's perfect, right? And I think, and like you said, in today's climate, everybody can have a scandal just based on what they do in their personal life, right? Just because everybody's behind the 8 ball trying to keep up with the way the society is moving towards a more, what's the way to put it? A more inclusive, sensitive society. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with us going to give everybody more civil liberties and letting them have, less hate, right? So that's cool, awesome. I just don't think it's possible for anybody to be squeaky clean, so much so that there's no way for them to have a scandal. Like, I don't want a scandal to come out about LeBron. I don't want a scandal to come out about, Jay-Z, Beyonce, Oprah, Michelle. Well, they can get Oprah, Michelle, Barack.
Oh, Jesus.
But I'm just like, yo, I think it just, if your life is such that all we can have is rumors, I think you've accomplished that. And I think that's what LeBron, MJ, at this point, and all the celebrities I named, they've done a well enough job where the worst you can get on them is a rumor. Like Will Smith. The worst you can do on Will Smith is a rumor. And it might get 1,000 views on YouTube, but it's still just a rumor. But it's not.
I'm saying, but Will Smith might be somebody we can add to the LeBron, Obama conversation. Though I mean, he might fit into that category to where uber successful, uber, exposure to where everybody knows still has survived scandal free. So
like his wife talks about relationship woes, and she talked about their relationship, and it just still never turned into a scandal. I've only heard one person, again, some random lady on the internet, maybe 10,000 YouTube followers. That's impressive to me, but not in the grand scheme of things. She's the only person I've heard bash Will Smith and Jada Pinkett's relationship. But again, it was just a rumor.
In what way though?
Like she was saying, which again, this lends to my theory that Will is such a leader that he controls and chokes the way everything operates around him. And so it's bad because he controls his relationship the same way, he might control his image in the media. And again, this is all just rumor. It's not enough to make the world stop and be like, oh no.
I'm saying, but that's not even something that happened though. That's just the way that somebody operates.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like if you're gonna be Will Smith, again, all the people we named, Will Smith, the Obamas, the Carters, Michael Jordan, yes, you need to control it, because why? Your brand, which is your moneymaker, is attached to all the stuff that goes out about you. And so for Michael Jordan to have, complete control and then share some of his profits with the NBA, I don't care. Like, I'm like, so? Because when LeBron dropped whatever documentary he's going to drop, whenever he decides to drop it, which I'm still shocked it hasn't happened yet, I'm like, yo, it's going to be the same thing. It's going to be the same thing. When Kobe documentary dropped.
Do you think it was ironic that LeBron released his greatest clutch playoff video? Do you think it was ironic that ESPN dropped that today? The same day that Jordan's series is coming on. Do you see any irony in that?
Nah, because LeBron only got like 6 shots. So what we talking about? Come on now. LeBron clutch all of a sudden out of it? LeBron's clutch. He's a all-around better type of basketball player than Michael Jordan. But he wasn't more effective at winning than Michael Jordan. And clutch wasn't a part of that description we ever used to describe LeBron.
I just find it crazy that
I think ESPN
I think both people are being strategic. I think LeBron's being strategic in this situation. I think Jordan's being strategic in how stuff and when stuff gets out. So
what involvement does LeBron have in the LeBron clutch shots video?
I mean, I think he has a lot of involvement. I'll be watching, like I watch the Undisputed with Skip and Shannon or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Shannon to say something about LeBron, and then next thing you know, he'll get a text from LeBron's people. So,
really?
I mean, yeah. Like he'll say something, and then his phone will go off, and Skip would be like, "Oh, that's LeBron's people, isn't it?" And then Shannon would start laughing. And so they are cognizant of what gets out there about LeBron. Yes. Oh yeah.
Wait now. I didn't know. I was telling Oh, the only person, Jarrell. I was telling Jarrell yesterday about like how celebrity, right? There's the brand, the image, the work that they put out, and all the stuff that goes around that. Like, I'm doing the reviews on Drake's mixtape, right? But then yesterday I was listening to a podcast and it was talking about like Drake's personal dating life. And I was like, what? Like it's just so diametrically different or opposed that it's kind of jarring to me. I'd be like, oh right, they do have personal lives. And then not to say I'm like trying to pry or be like, oh, need to put it out there for us to see. But it's like there's a complete world or side of the internet that is just dedicated to behind the scenes thoughts, conversations that these celebrities are having. And to hear that LeBron and his camp is doing the same thing, I'm just like,
Oh yeah, man. I mean, that's why he created, uninterrupted
mm-hmm,
and shop or whatever, because he wants to control. I mean, very similar to Jordan, he wants to control the narrative of
right?
what gets out there about him. He doesn't do a lot of interviews, so all this is in an effort to control what comes out about him or whatever. And I'm sure it's not LeBron that's watching and texting these people, but I'm pretty sure he has,
Yeah.
a camp or whatever, and they're like, hey, watch what you say.
I
So,
just, oh, you saying about Skip? They be telling Skip, like, chill out.
well, Skip is a LeBron hater. So Skip
I'm sorry,
is
Shannon. Yeah.
Shan is the one who's the LeBron fan, and I'm pretty sure some of it's just for TV, to where they're like, "Hey, we're gonna need you to throw some shade at LeBron."
Right.
Even though he scored 50, had 15 rebounds and 12 assists, we need you to find a way to hate him. And I'm pretty sure Skip is up to the
Skip is
task.
happy. Yeah, Skip is up to the task.
And
I
so,
just,
but yeah, but I mean, as I said, I'm pretty sure a lot of it's just put on for TV.
yeah,
But I do think that they are cognizant of what goes out about them, and they want to make sure that they have as much control as possible on what gets out.
LeBron is this generation after Kobe winning that last one over the Celtics. He's this generation's GOAT. Steph Curry's not the GOAT for this generation. KD keep getting sidetracked because KD could easily take it, but LeBron got it, and I'm fine with that. He's this era's dominant force. Nothing wrong with that. I think the dude's got a wonderful track record with philanthropy, and I'm kind of proud of the image the guy has at this point in his life.
Yeah,
But he's not better than Michael Jordan at
I
basketball.
mean,
He's just, I don't get
you're
why
right.
we talking about that.
He's not. He's not. And I was having this conversation with somebody. Is that I think LeBron would take not being the best basketball player for everything else that he's accomplished.
Right.
For philanthropy, for the school, for everything. I think he'll take a back seat to saying, all right, you may not be the greatest basketball player ever, but look at the impact that you made. And here's one thing that he can say over Jordan is that he did it while he was playing. Yes, Jordan was
Right.
kind of hyper focused while he was playing.
Right.
And anytime somebody asked him about anything other than basketball, he was like, I'm focused on winning championships.
That's it.
LeBron is somebody who's been able to build his business and his philanthropy while he's been playing. So he's kind of split his focus. Yes, it may have taken a little bit away from what he's been able to do on the court, but I think in the grand scheme of things, that will be more of a lasting legacy than
Listen,
what Jordan was able to do on the court.
I think Jordan can easily catch up with that, honestly.
Yeah, he can catch up with it, but the thing is that he ignored that side of it for so long.
I see. That's what we miss speaking. We don't know what Jordan did while he was hooping in the league because he wouldn't let you talk to him about nothing other than, hey, let's talk about the game. It's either the game tonight or the next game. I ain't talking to y'all about nothing else. That's how controlled. This documentary showed me two things about Jordan because it kind of it gave you a behind the scenes look on some stuff, and it kind of made you feel like he's more of a human than we realized. I'm like, yo, this dude was extremely poised in the media. Like, almost unshakable, bro. Like this cat, I was like, yo, I don't remember this cat being this smooth with everything. Like
Yeah,
you
yeah.
wasn't finna get this dude to do nothing he didn't want to do or say.
Visually, everything.
Like
I mean,
I was like, yo,
always put together, always
I
clean,
was like,
all outdoors, and then unshakable. But I think if you see the parts where they interview his mother, you can kind of see where that poise and that grace comes from.
yeah,
Where
yeah,
because she comes off very, very
elegant,
as if she's like as if that was her profession,
right?
you know, things of that nature. But yeah, I can't say. But the thing is that would would Jordan be able to handle the social media pressure that today's athletes have to deal with? So that's a different thing is dealing with the media when they do their job and go home. But this social media, that's 24/7, and you got
So
people coming
you
any
telling
and
me,
everywhere. And another thing is, I want to say this is that those the media they respect boundaries. Social media they don't respect boundaries at all. So people
yeah,
had to show Jordan a certain level of admiration to keep staying close to him. Social media they don't respect boundaries at all. So that's the thing is would he have fared as well in today's society as he did and back in his time where the media pressure wasn't as heavy. There wasn't a 24-hour loop on ESPN where they had to have full content for 7 different channels like they do now, where there weren't
1997,
debate shows and things of that nature.
1997, 1998, we was pretty close. We was almost here. Now, I know Facebook, Twitter, all those different things didn't happen. Not every single individual person that had a cell phone could just say something and it get to Michael Jordan. But I will say this. Mike went through a lot of hate because he was Mike. Because he was Mike, Mike went through what would be the equivalent of social media pressure. This dude couldn't go nowhere. I think we're supposed to see that tonight in the documentary, that every time he left his hotel room, it was 20, 30 mics in his face. How is that much different than what LeBron doing? Because LeBron can go places now and it not be a big deal when he gets there. Mike can't. Like, LeBron going to his son's games and those types of things. And yes, there's cell phone footage. Yes, there's gonna be a little quick write up about it on ESPN. It might be like a 30-second blurb, which is fine. But you telling me Mike didn't have to go through that? Because Mike went through that.
But here's the thing. Here's the reason why Mike had to go through that because athletes, their lives weren't as open as they are now. So now people feel like, oh, it's LeBron. Oh, I just read his tweet. I just saw him on Instagram or whatever.
Right.
So it kind of breaks the mystique of an athlete. But when you never get to hear from anybody or you never get to touch anybody, you never get to see anybody, that mystique is built up.
Mike was always in front of a camera.
I understand he was always in front of the camera, but was he in front of the camera expressing how things, openly and honestly, or was he in front of the camera presenting a reserved, controlled self? LeBron more vulnerable, so people feel like they know him a little bit more. So when he goes out, it's not that big of a deal. But it's almost like Will Smith. Will Smith had to switch up what celebrity meant.
That's exactly my point. You just went to where I was gonna go.
I'm saying, but Will Smith was the old school celebrity like Jordan was originally.
Right.
But then he switched over and said, celebrity has switched. What it means to be a celebrity is not letting people in and living behind a gate anymore.
Now you see everything.
Yeah, so now you see everything or whatever. So I think that when you see everything, it's not that big of a smeek to where it's like, oh man, it's Will Smith. It's like, oh, I just saw Will Smith on a Facebook video. I just saw Will Smith do this. So even though they're not physically seeing Will Smith in person, they feel more connected to him because they have so much more information about him.
So this is what I'm saying. Mike was the first cat to do that. Mike was already doing that. In this documentary, I did not know, this is something else I learned, that this cat was under that much pressure sitting that jump shot at UNC. And I didn't mean pressure like to perform. He was always in the media. Like you saw that little segment where he was being filmed riding his bike around campus and waving to people. Like, who was doing that in the 80s? Who was doing that?
In the 80s, but then you had LeBron that came out. He was on the cover of Sports Illustrated when he was in high school.
Again, that's just a result of when he came out. I'm telling you, Mike was on the cover the next year for ESPN. I'm not ESPN, Sports Illustrated. Him and Sam Perkins. He had an interview after hitting that shot. The coaches on there, they let, all of that. But this dude was, the only thing that changed about what Mike went through was the technology. He was still getting as scrutinized as these other celebrities. Like,
he was getting scrutinized from reporters. He wasn't getting scrutinized from everybody who had a phone.
That's what I said. That's the technology.
I'm saying, but there's a difference between reporters saying stuff about you and everybody in the world having an opinion about you.
So you telling me everybody's opinion about LeBron counts as much as every reporter's opinion about Jordan back in the 90s?
I'm saying that it's inescapable.
Like, Jordan's was inescapable.
When Jordan came out, it was one ESPN channel. How many ESPN channels are right now? And how many debate shows? I'm saying, so now it's a lot more. It's a lot more content that's created about not only from credible journalistic sources, but also social media, to where it's inescapable now, to where now everybody has an opinion and can weigh in on it. Me and you, I was telling somebody the other day, now that people can't do shows from studios, the shows look just like this show right here. We look just like Skip and Shannon right now. Both of us are sports. Both of us are in our house. It's crappy video quality because it's not a professional video camera. So we can produce a show just like Skip and Shannon.
Right.
And so there's no barriers to that. So anybody that wants to create content, create content. I don't think that was the story back in Jordan's day, to where you had to have a newspaper, you had to have a TV show, and to spout off an opinion about Michael Jordan and for it to get out to the world. Nowadays, anybody can have an opinion about anybody, and it can get back to the person or anybody who's in earshot of it.
Everything you're saying is going back to, it's just the technology changer. It's just everybody still had this. It was the same amount of people had it.
But I'm saying, the technology has increased the amount of voices that are coming at that one person.
So you tell me you don't think Mike is still a subject to that same stuff just because he ain't playing? Because he might.
He's a subject to what he does nowadays, but he wasn't a subject to it when he was playing, to where every missed shot,
bro,
every non-clutch, every buzzer beater because he has a quote to where he's like, "Oh, I've missed several buzzer beaters." We don't see video of that. But if LeBron misses a buzzer beater, ESPN gonna be like, LeBron missed this or whatever, and they're gonna send it out to everybody in the world.
Come on now. So again, disagreeing, because the technology of the time had Mike under the same amount of pressure.
No.
So you're not watching the documentary when he said everybody was everybody. Matter of fact, I remember as a kid, one morning, me and my dad went to eat at a diner, and it was after a game, and I used to I had just started getting into reading stats and seeing how many shots somebody took in the field goal percentage. And Jordan kept having these nights where he was going 35%, 39%. He was less than 40. And then I'd be looking at how many shots took, and he's like, "Dang, this cat took 35 shots, right?" And then the column was all about, "Oh, terrible shooter, ball hog." This dude still had to go through the same amount of scrutiny. It's just because me and you couldn't talk to him. The newspapers were saying the same thing. Mike, for the longest time, was called a ball hog. As a kid, I thought he was a ball hog. But I was he's the best player ever, but he's a ball hog. So what I'm saying is, at the time, no, there was no Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, ESPN 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Yes, cool. But he was still in the failure because everywhere he went, especially in 1997, 98, there was a camera in his face and a microphone in his face. I don't get what's different. I think the only thing that's different is just that now, instead of him just fading into the ether and nobody caring about him, anything he's did, he's still getting pressure from people like us because now when he drops some shoes, somebody got something to say. Now when Boyce Watkins want to talk about financial literacy, he want to talk about Jordans. Like now it's like, dang, no matter what this guy does or doesn't do, he's getting criticized for it, and he's been going through it for 40 years. That's what I'm saying. Like LeBron ain't getting pressure about his shoes. Anybody talking to LeBron about the cost of his sneakers? Anybody telling somebody to talk about black people spending money frivolously, who they bring up? Jordan. They don't bring up Michael Kors. They don't bring up LeBron. They don't bring up Yeezys. They don't bring up nobody else but Jordan. He's still the reason black people can't come up financially. Like, instead of him being a ball hog, in the 90s and the 80s, now he's the reason we can't come up as a whole and why we getting shot by cops and we sagging. What? Like, he don't even play no more, dog. Like, you know as well as I do. He's still catching. Telling people what happened when everybody at the job saw your shoes.
No, I mean it's been a question of it's been a topic of discussion. I would say, people bring it up. As I said, I'm still trying to decipher if it's bringing up in a congratulatory, hey, those are tight, or bringing it up, who's this guy, with the Jordan shoes. Like I'm still trying to figure out, the tone of the comments that I'm getting. But as I said, the play that's behind me right now with the shoes or whatever. Sometimes when I'm on work calls, when I'm internal work calls, to where I'm dealing with people that work, within the same company as me, I have this behind me because this is my home office. This is where I work. And so, as I said, not one call goes by to where people do not mention the shoe collection that's behind me. As I said, a majority of these people, we don't share the same complexion or the same nationality.
Right.
But as I said, it is a topic of discussion. And I've asked several people, hey, how do you feel about it? Not people that I've asked a couple people that I work with, and they're like, nah, it's cool. No. We meaning that's something cool or whatever. But I have asked other people like, man, you rock it, things like that or whatever. So yeah,
that's the new stigma.
Point is that it does resonate with people a certain way because the shoes have always been a subject that black people, Jordans are something that black people waste a lot of their money on.
That's why I gotta be waste. See what I'm saying, brother? You buying into the hype.
I'm saying that's been the sentiment of it. That's not me. I mean, I try to make my money at all. But as I said, these shoes behind me, since I bought them, they've gone up in value. I mean, that might be our new art form.
See what I'm talking about? So, okay. See, this is a good topic. Because they bash him a dog and they won't give him a dog respect. It's because he's a black dude. I said it.
Yeah.
What we were saying when Beyonce dropped the Ivy Park line was we saying, oh, black people don't need to be spending money on sneakers. I ain't seen no influx of tweets and comments about financial literacy when she dropped them shoes with Adidas. I didn't see it. No. And again, I personally don't think there's anything wrong with what she's doing because if she makes the shoe big enough, I'm a supporter. But to Jordan's, not that he needs my help defending him, in his defense, this dude gets criticized and has been getting criticized for stuff since he made that shot at North Carolina. That's my personal stance. And to sit here and have these articles come out about, oh, he only dropping this because he want LeBron to stay in second place. Since when LeBron jumped over Kobe? How? When did that happen? So when this Kobe documentary get put together and released from his final year as a Laker,
Kobe had Shaq. Kobe, a majority of the time, Shaq was a Finals MVP of that original three-peat. So
I'm with you.
and then Kobe. I mean, Kobe didn't have to go through a Jordan NBA. People consider the NBA to be down as far as the number of talented players when the Lakers were
that
the
second,
first 3 seed.
I got you.
So I
Hey
mean,
man,
it's a lot of debates
I,
for against
bro,
Kobe. I would say.
I'm with you. And everybody's saying the East is soft as cotton.
And another thing is that Jordan took the Bulls, which was a relatively low performing teams for the history of the NBA, and bought them up. I mean, who can't do something with the Lakers?
I mean, to LeBron's credit, he made the Cavaliers. How can I put it? Because their franchise isn't a slouch. I mean, they didn't win one, but the city as a whole didn't win one for forever. But as you saw in the documentary, the Mark Price days, they weren't slouches. They were respected.
Yeah,
You know
because
what
I
I mean?
think they were favored to when Jordan beat them. Weren't they
Yeah,
favored that year
yeah.
to come out of the East?
They was favored to win by no, I don't know about coming out of the East, but I know they were supposed to beat
And
Jordan.
then some people had them in a sweep because remember he told the columnist, he's like, I
Yep,
already I beat you, and he's like,
yep,
tonight I'm gonna put you out. So yeah, I
yeah.
mean, so yeah, the Mark Price Cavaliers we're supposed to we're supposed to be the
You're right.
team back then.
And
So yeah,
but you see how they still got the mic, even though there was no Twitter and Instagram. This is what I tell people when they be talking about Kevin Durant being soft, like mentally soft. I tell people Durant got that same thing Jordan had. He would go hunt out stuff that people were saying about him as a means to fuel him on the court. Like Mike, we see it time and time. Oh, you said we were gonna beat you, gonna beat you, gonna beat you. I feel like that's the difference between LeBron and Mike. Like Mike is sensitive, like we saw in the video. He's looking for validation from external sources, and he's willing to work his butt off to get it. The first person was his dad. You know what I mean? I remember seeing an article years ago about him saying he was pissed that he wasn't getting certain kind of accolades after having made that shot at UNC. He was like, oh, so y'all still don't think I'm the best? All right, I'm gonna go out here and bust everybody else again. Like, that was him going time and time again because he's like, man, y'all keep slighting me. I personally think that's awesome. I know that's not an emotionally healthy thing to do. I get it. You know what I mean? It's something that in some areas I suffer from. But when it comes to basketball, dog, please talk smack. Please talk smack. KD's got
but
the same bone in him. You know what I
I
mean?
mean, but KD can't leave a team where he blew a 3-1 lead. He had a 3-1 lead against the Warriors.
Bro, I'm with
The
you. I
Warriors
mean,
come back and beat him,
I'm just
and then you can't leave the team and then go join the team that beat you.
no, I'm not
So
saying that is
that's not the Jordan
no, that's not
mean
no.
at all.
No, that to that end, yes, that I think that's a soft move.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that gene in him that needs to see and like come at people based on the comments that they're making. Jordan had that same gene. Still has it if what you're saying is true. So I don't know, man. I just feel like, hey man, it's good business. There's two brothers out here trying to win a debate. Yes, it's in sports. Yes, Boys Watkins don't care about sports. Nah, you know, it ain't making us better as humans or something. I don't know what people be saying.
So what you're saying, there's no losers in this. You know, even though they seem to be going at it, there's no losers.
Yeah, like this is a good business plan, man. We watching. Like,
I mean, but the one thing they do have in common is Nike. I mean,
yeah,
so do you think Nike could be like, hey, y'all go at it, and then they're the ones who beat? I mean, well, Nike and the NBA. Those are the two entities that LeBron and Jordan have in common.
yeah.
So I mean, those are the two people who besides them individually, the NBA and Nike
Benefit from
benefit from. Yeah.
yeah. I mean that's whatever. I mean they definitely you can't ignore it. They're definitely there. But I do think we'd be remiss if we didn't acknowledge how much influence and power these two men have with how their narrative is told. And so, anytime they want to get out there and flex their muscle, it gets done. You get what I'm saying? So, uh, hey man, one thing I'm taking away from it is now I start to watch rappers and everything. Bro, you just gotta blow up in one lane. As soon as you blow up, as soon as that mushroom cloud hit its peak, you got to be ready to turn that into money in a different industry. And so, sports, you can get enough money and parlay that into something else, like the brother did. He retired playing for the Bucks. He took like 350,000, and he's now worth 600 million because he bought like 400 Wendy's franchises.
Oh wow!
I need to get his name, but he was at the peak of what he was going to do from sports, and he immediately turned it into, all right, I'm this high. Let me make sure I land somewhere that's further away or higher than where I was at when I started. And I don't see anything wrong with that. Like, that's the lesson we should all learn. Like, I think me and you are behind the eight ball in terms of, in the celebrity crap, because we're not known internationally for a rap song, a basketball game, football game. Like, we're not known for that. So it's going to take us a little different route. But take this attention and parlay it into, let me make more money other ways. That's my takeaway from it. Like, that's how I'm looking at it. Like,
yeah. And I think the good thing about like today's time is that, like I was alluding to earlier, is that everybody has the ability to create content and put it out.
Mm-hmm.
And so, if it jumps off, it jumps off. But
right.
You still have the barrier to entry is a lot lower right now than it has ever been, because like I said, the Skip and Shannon show will look just like our show right now.
Yeah.
Because they don't have a studio, they can't get into the studio to create content. We don't have a studio to create content. So guess what? They stuff look just like ours. You know what I'm saying? The audience is there, but the same ability they have to create content we have right now.
Right.
And so what's going to get it popping off? So like you say, I mean, people do have the ability to go out and create, whatever it is they want to create.
Yeah. The new game is, all right, you got content. Now you need to get people to listen to your content. So, celebrity helps in that regard. But yeah, man, that's all I'm doing. I'm just watching these cats lay out a blueprint, bro. Like, I don't know how I'm gonna get celebrity, but I got to figure out how to get more people to. It's like, all right, I'm making stuff. Now I need to figure out how to get it to more people. Trying to find this brother that got the Wendy's franchises, so I can give everybody his name.
Junior Bridgman.
What is it?
Junior Bridgman.
Is that it?
You talking about? He played in the NBA, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was Junior Bridgman.
Well, that's that now. But yeah, man, that's the lesson everybody needs to take from this. I need to start recording like all this stuff. I saw something that was saying LeBron might get like $460 million from his NBA contracts, but his endorsements and side hustles gonna bring in $1.6 billion.
Yeah,
that's the blueprint.
I mean, that's the thing about Michael Jordan, is that Michael Jordan didn't make that much money.
Nah.
Like they were saying that Scottie Pippen overall made more money in the NBA than Michael Jordan. And Michael Jordan had 2 years with the Bulls to where he made a significant amount of money.
Yeah.
But he's the money that he was able to make off the court and continues to make off the court is what's gonna carry him
right
forward. So
to all the haters out there, all the people out there talking about, oh, don't spend your money. Nah, you need to watch this story and look at how he and LeBron and Kobe taking these pathways to notoriety and flipping them. So, but nah,
I believe that brother you're talking about was Junior Bridgman, though. He played for the Milwaukee Bucks.
Yeah.
And he said that he had a conversation with the owner one time, and he kind of learned how money works or whatever. And so after that, he took the money and started owning
Mm-hmm.
franchises, and now he's like,
He's set.
yeah, set. So yeah,
He's worth a king. Shaq is another person. Same.
oh yeah,
So you know what I mean, hey, that's the takeaway from the Last Dance. Build that legacy, however you got to build it, and then protect it. And so if he dropping this because LeBron catching up on his legacy, let's do it. Let's see who win, bro. Let's look at these Space Jam numbers. You buy some Space Jams to go in the theater with?
I was looking at what was ahead, and for the shoes or whatever, and they were coming out with a whack pair of 11s this year for Christmas. So,
for LeBron or for Jordan?
For Jordan, yeah. But you're
What's
saying
coming out, the 12s? I mean the 13s?
No, I'm saying, well, he releases 11s like every year around Christmas.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. The reverse Concords.
The reverse. They look whack. The ones that are coming out this year. He might as well just release the Space Jam. So.
Now he might wait till next year if what y'all saying is true. He might drop them right around when Space Jam drop.
Yeah.
And I would be glad to have a pair if I don't have one before then. So, nah, man, people need to get off Jordan, dog. Let Jordan be the GOAT on the court. What y'all need to do is try to figure out how y'all gonna beat him in marketing. Because right now, nobody's doing it. You saw that Colin Cowherd segment where he was talking about how the NBA ain't been able to replace Jordan yet in terms of popularity, and he dropped that stat about how Jordan sold 130 million pairs of sneakers last year, but LeBron, Giannis, even then like 4 players that only sold like 128 million.
Yeah.
When you combine all these sales, I was like, yo.
Yeah. But he created though. There was no people weren't marketing so it's hard to beat somebody at a game they create. So
yeah, but they try. Kanye said he's trying to come for him, so I think Kanye just in 1 year. I think it was 2016. I think Jordan had sold like $1 billion worth of sneakers, and it was like Kanye sold like $900 million worth of sneakers.
Oh wow!
And people was like, "Oh, he coming for him?" Oh, shout out, man! Kanye's a billionaire by Forbes magazine's estimates. He's worth 1.3 now. Of course, Kanye was lobbying to get that number raised, and he was trying to get Forbes to evaluate him about a year ago. But Kanye's officially a billionaire now. I do think he is the Walt Disney of our time. And the brother's an undeniable genius. Does he have some emotional and mental health issues? Sure. But I'll take those if I'm a billionaire for the family.
Yeah.
So, but nah, man, stop hating on MJ, y'all. That man had this documentary. LeBron, you can jump in there. You ain't gonna win. That's all I'm saying. You ain't gonna win. As much as you want to talk and send your people to text Shannon and tell Shannon to say something, you ain't gonna win. It ain't happening, bro. There's something wrong with Michael Jordan that makes him win. That's what I'm saying.
I hear you.
So, good. We straight.
We good, man. Another fine episode.
All right. That's that. All right.
God bless.
Hey, wait.
What's up?
Subscribe. Hey, y'all get out there. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Subscribe. Mighty Sharp, the podcast. Subscribe, like, share. Let everybody know what y'all think. For all of us that have supported in the past, we appreciate you. Those of you that are watching for the first time, we appreciate you. Hopefully y'all come back and y'all learn that Jordan is the best at marketing and in basketball. Stop hating. Now. Peace.
All right. God bless.
Bye. Yes, sir.